Alrighty, traders. This is Blake Morrow. You are listening to the Daily Roundup. I hope you guys are doing well. What a day. It's you're seeing a little bit of hold on really quick. You're seeing a little bit of weakness kind of seep in the markets. I was just pointing out Ethereum. I mean, look at that thing. 88% retracement on a weekly chart. I mean, that is massive. I mean, absolutely massive. I don't even know what to say there other than don't get in the way. don't get run over like geez, holy cow. Anyway, let's talk about some things that are happening. So the euro is really close to support. We've been talking about the support being pretty key, and as long as it held, you could play off of it, and that's worked today. I mean, we bounced off of it once, got a nice 30 pip bounce. The last one was like 20. The risk is starting to build that we break, and if we break, you're going to see a lot of things move at once. I think one of them would be, the pound looks kind of vulnerable here. The pound had been holding up, and there's a risk that the sterling sells off below 135 and sees 133. You have the Aussie dollar that's probing support here. We could very easily see 76.5, maybe even lower. Kiwi, if we break this trend line, things are going to, really start to accelerate lower. You got the dollar Canadian that's about ready to come out of the, ascending wedge or descending wedge, excuse me. The dollar Mexican peso, this was a big deal today. Is anybody long the dollar Mexican peso with me? Anybody? It's in the pattern in play too. If you see here from this morning, did anybody get long that in chat? Or you guys can chat if you are. Remember, this is and if you missed it, I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit about this. This is a Wyckoff setup, which you don't see them that often. This is not a common setup, okay? But Wyckoff is when you have like a nice consolidation, and you can see it here in the 4 hour. I'm going to move this over just a little bit. Oh, let's see. Let me see if I can. There we go. And then let me do some drawing. Okay, so let me just show you. It's a powerful. It's a powerful pattern when you can find it. They're just not hard. They're not that common. So you can see right over here where it says, oh shoot, I didn't want to do that. Let me erase that. Draw. This is what I want to do. Okay, so you'll notice that right over here, right? That's here, right? Then we came out of the wedge right there, right? Then we consolidated. Now we got the breakdown yesterday, right? Now we're getting the move back up towards resistance. Then we should do this and then take off like this, right? Does that make sense to everybody? Do you guys see what I'm seeing? Do you guys hear what I'm saying? Do you guys got that? Okay, Gavin said yep. All right, good. And like I said, it's not a common pattern, but I see them every once in a while. When something starts building a base, my radar kind of goes up for them. So that's what I'm paying attention to right now with in regards to that. Now, what has to happen though, in this particular pair, we need to see a little bit of here, let me get rid of this real quick. Okay, 78% retracements at 20. We probably need to see some equity market selling first and foremost before, you know, you get, sorry, I'm just doing a little bit of adjusting here on my orders. Before you get any follow through to the upside. So because stocks are so well bid, I'm actually, I had a buy order for the dollar MEX at 1985. I'm kind of hoping we get down there, you know, like we do one of these. But, you know, I might have to start raising the order just a bit just to make sure I can get a fill. But like I said, you know what? I was trying to trade this one long. I'm not super comfortable with it. The US dollar, Norwegian krona, I have a little, very small position, and I don't anymore. So I just got out of it. I think this will go higher if stocks move lower, but I'm not 100% convinced that stocks are moving lower at this point. You know, I want to believe that they are, but I'm not 100% sure. But Benedict in our chat room, he pulled up a bit here. Let me. This is the chart he pulled up, and I actually saved it because he's been looking at this for a while. This is his bearish crab on the S&P 500. Benedict, if you're listening in, he's in the chat room. This is his chart, and you know we're reaching for that 161% extension at the 3820, which also coincides with, you know, our channel resistance. So I'm thinking that we're going to roll over, but what I want to see by the end of the day or by tomorrow, tomorrow is probably more realistic, is, you know, post FOMC, we drop back below that level. And if we drop below there, then I'm going to be more convinced that the stock market is ready to actually turn. Does that make sense to you guys? So I'm trying to play into the dollar, you know, the stock market reversing by playing the dollar Mexican peso on the long side, which is obviously holding up pretty well. Hopefully we get a little bit of a dip. And then, hold on really quick. And then what I'm going to be looking for is a reversal higher in the Euro crosses, Euro Aussie, Euro New Zealand, Pound Aussie, and Pound Aussie, I'm actually looking for a move above that. This is a 38% retracement right here at 176.15. We get above that, then I'll I'll be a little bit more aggressive with my longs. I'd like to play some Pound New Zealand, but the cable's trading a little heavy at the moment. So, but I need to see equity market weakness in order for me to play out those. Jason's asked, hey Blake, with the Euro Aussie, what's your target? Well, my target is actually, my target's like at 162, but we have to see like 160, because if 160 breaks, what I think I'm going to do here is I'm going to move my stops up to break even, and then I'm going to adjust my, my target based on what's happening at that point. So let me remove this really quick. So if we can reverse up here and get past like this 38% retracement, which, that's going to take us above this like 162 level. Okay. I'm sorry, this is a 50, the 38% retracement right there. Sorry. So if we get above that 162, that means that we're probably going into a trend change, false breakdown. So above 160, I start to think false breakdown. We get towards that 162, which is a 38% retracement, which could be this. You know what I mean? And that's why 162 is kind of where I'm thinking the underside of this previous channel. But if we get above 160, I will move stops to break even, and I'll start targeting above one over here. And then, then if I get stopped out, I get stopped out. But if it breaks through 162, man, then you got a situation where you could see a real serious squeeze. But that has to coincide with equity market weakness. And right now, look at the NASDAQ. I mean, it's on fire, right? It's absolutely on fire right now. So it's hard for me to be super aggressive with, it's hard for me to be aggressive counter trend when stocks are just up here. He says, makes sense since Aussie dropped to 70 cents and has gone up 800 pips. Yeah, I mean, look, if the Aussie goes, back to let's say if it drops, well, first of all, one of the other things that has to happen, Jason, and there's anybody else who's playing this too, the Aussie, if we crack through this support here, that's a kind of a, I want to say green light, but that's kind of a green light for me to really start thinking about adding to my Euro Aussie, Pound Aussie exposure. Because then I know the Aussie is breaking down. I got to see what the Euro is doing, because the Euro could be breaking through this support at the same time. And then, when you got them both moving lower, unless stocks are moving lower, then they might just stay neck and neck. But if stocks are moving lower because the Euro, if the Aussie and the Euro is moving lower and the dollar is actually, moving higher, but stocks are moving down, then the Aussie should outpace the Euro to the downside, which means the Euro Aussie will continue to go higher. That's what I'm thinking right now. And that's kind of what's on my mind. So hope that makes sense to you. And he says that these commodity currencies may see some big pullbacks if the market's correct. Yeah, I mean, they've been on a tear. When you think about where the Aussie has gone, I mean, just since January 4th, I mean, we've gone from 76 cents to 78 cents. That's a 200 pip move. I mean, that's a 2.5% move in a currency in a couple of days. And that's a big move for a currency, right? But if you take it really since we broke out, I mean, when I say we broke out, you go, the 70 cent level, this breakout here, and these are big moves, from that low, that's up 11%. Just in a couple of months. I mean, I do believe the Aussie's going a lot higher. If you heard Steve Vogie this morning, I agree with him. I think the Aussie's going a lot higher. I think the Kiwi's going a lot higher. I think the Norwegian krona is going a lot higher as a currency. Canada depends more on, what happens with crude oil, but I think these commodity currencies are going to be looking pretty good going into the later part of this year. I do think that they are due for a bit of a correction, and those corrections can be fast, right? Hugo says, I was in with you on the dollar Mexican peso trade, got out too early, laugh out loud. Awesome trade. Thank you, Blake. You're welcome. And I'm glad you at least participated some, Hugo. That's great. All right, guys. Well, hey, stay tuned. So the thing I'm looking for today and tonight, really, let's see if the S&P breaks back below this level. If we break back below this level, then we're let me draw that. If we break back below like this 3780 by the end of the day, that sets up for kind of a bearish reversal for non-farm payroll. Doesn't matter what jobs numbers we get. That means the stock market's probably going to see some selling, in my opinion, because we're in this channel and we're probably going to, if we get a false breakout here, we're probably going to revisit the lower end of the channel. And remember, we break through this channel. That's when I start getting more aggressive on, short commodity currencies, long dollars, that type of thing. Okay. All right, guys and gals, have a great one. Thank you so much for your support. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you. And I'll see you all in the chat room or tomorrow morning on the Face webinar. You guys have a great one. Bye-bye.